There is a friend you were really close to, like really close. Daily बात होती थी. And now, if I ask you when you actually talked to them last, you would have to think about it. Not a fight, no drama, nothing happened. You still like them. If you met them tomorrow, it would be completely normal. You just stopped. And whenever anyone talks about this, the answer is always the same. Everyone got busy. Life happened. I used to believe that too. But I don't think that's true anymore. I think something else has happened and nobody talks about it. So let's take the busy thing seriously for a second. Are you actually that busy? Because think about last week. You watched something, you scrolled for a while at night. You probably watched or binge watched a full series. If a friend said, "Come, let's meet Saturday evening," you would find the time. You would. So it's not the time. Time is there. What made me sure was something else. Think about how you talk to people now versus you used to talk to them back then. Now, when you message someone after a long time, you need a reason. Someone's birthday, some news, a festival, or something happened, so you message. And back then, there was no reason, nothing at all. You would just call. क्या कर रहा है? कुछ नहीं बस ऐसे ही कॉल किया. And that was the whole conversation. 20 minutes of literally nothing. Nobody was calling because they had something to say. And there is one more thing that hides all of this from us. You still see them, their story, their post, sometimes a photo. So you know somewhere where they went last night, what are the jobs they have switched. You know what their room looks like, and your brain quietly files all this as a contact. It feels like you are still in touch, you are updated. But being updated about someone and knowing someone are two completely different things. You can know every fact about a person's month and still not have spoken to them in a year. That's why this never feels urgent. There is no missing feeling. The gap is filled with information. Anyways, back to the calling thing because that's where the actual answer is. People called because they had nothing to do. And that's the whole thing. Friendship, the real close one, was not built in planned meetings. It was built in dead time. Think about where your friendships actually got deep. Think about your college days. Think about your school days. Waiting outside tuitions for 20 minutes because the last class ran late. The bus that didn't come, the power cut, so everyone came out and just stood there. The hour after dinner when there was genuinely nothing to do. Long train journeys, sitting on a bike outside someone's house, talking about nothing for an hour. And none of that was a quality time or nobody scheduled it, nobody called it bonding. It was just empty time that had another person in it. That's where you learn the small stuff about someone, not their big life updates, the small stuff, how they think, what are the things that they like, what they don't like, the random opinions about random things, and that only comes out when there is nothing else happening around you. Now count how many gaps like that are left in your day. Life is slow, phone nikal liya. 2 minutes before a meeting, again phone. Waiting for the food, phone. 10 seconds of nothing at a traffic signal, and your phone is in your hand. Every single gap is filled, not by work, by something. And those gaps were not empty, they were doing something. They were where friendships was getting made. Now here is where it gets a little unfair because the obvious answer is okay, just make time, schedule a call, plan a meetup, and we all try that. Let's catch up soon, let's plan something. And when you actually do meet, it's nice, it's genuinely nice. But you have probably noticed it also feels like a bit like a meeting. You have 2 hours, you update each other for job, family, or whatever's happening in your life. You cover the headlines and then you go home and you feel like you talked, but you didn't really talk. And you both leave saying we should do this more often. And you really mean it. And then it's again 8 months. And that's not because we have grown apart. And that's because closeness was never made in those 2 hours. 2 hours with an agenda is an interview. A nice one, but still an interview. The old thing that had no agenda at all. That was the entire point of it. It was made in the boring hour where nobody had anything to do. You can schedule a meeting, you cannot schedule a boredom. And that's the part that gets me. The thing that built it was the thing that had no value. The empty time, the wasted time, the time we would give happily away. We gave it away. And we got something genuinely good in return. I'm not going to sit here and say that phones are evil. No, I built this stuff. I know exactly how good it is. But we traded the raw materials without knowing it was raw material. I want to be honest here because I don't have a clean fix for this. I can't tell you to be just bored again. Nobody can do that on purpose. I have tried it. And it's not like the phone is optional. My job is on it, my work is on it. I literally build things that fill these gaps. But there is one thing I have noticed, and it's very small. The gap doesn't need to be an hour, it just needs to be unplanned. A couple of times, I have called someone with genuinely no reason, no update, no occasion, just calling, and it felt different from every scheduled catch up I had in this year. So, look, if there is one thing I want you to take from this, you didn't lose those friendships because you stopped caring or they stopped caring. You both just stopped being bored at the same time, and nobody noticed because nothing bad happened. There was nothing to notice. That's why it never got fixed. There was no fight to apologize for, no moment to point at. So the fix probably isn't a big one either. Not a trip, not a reunion, nothing like let's plan something soon. Maybe just a call with nothing to say. 10 minutes of कुछ नहीं बस ऐसे ही call किया. They will be like something's wrong and for the first few seconds and let them. Anyways, that's the thing I have been thinking about this week. If there is someone who came to your mind while watching this, I would genuinely love to know about this. Tell me in the comments, I read them. And if you have got one of these friendships sitting there, you already know what to do. See you in the next one.
I feel warm again.